Hey guys, let's talk about tools real quick. So this is what you're going to need. I have my small drill with a pilot bit. I believe that's 1/8 inch, and then a 3/8 drill bit. A Sharpie for marking holes. There isn't a lot of drilling on this, but there is a little bit. Wrenches and sockets. So I have a 7/16 wrench with a socket, 1/2 inch wrench with a 1/2 inch socket, 9/16 wrench, 9/16 socket, a 5/8 socket, 3/4 inch wrench, and then a 1/4 inch socket wrench with a 5/16 on it. And I used this for the hose clamps at the end. You can use a 5/16 nut driver, would work just fine too. And then my impact wrench. My impact wrench with a 18mm and a 19mm socket. And yes, I'm using chrome, and no, I don't care. I don't have a bunch of impact sockets yet, so using what I have. Make sure you wear safety glasses and ear protection when you're doing this. And then I also have a floor jack, which I use to jack the machine up so I could take the wheels off. The first thing that you have to do is remove these 4 bolts, which I've already loosened on the chute side of the mower, of course. So I had to remove my advanced chute system. Place this on. Alright, time to get this done. I had to go and get some new bolts because the bolts that came out, you were supposed to reuse those to mount the pulley. But the bolts that came out were not long enough. They were only about a 1/2 inch to maybe 3/4 of an inch long, and these are 1 inch. And I've already checked them. They're about as long as you can go without bottoming out before it'll tighten up the pulley. So anyway, can't really blame that on the kit because you're supposed to reuse these, but they just didn't work in my case. So anyway, new bolts. Let's get this thing bolted on there so we can get going. Now that the pulley is attached and bolted down nice and solid, as you can see, everything's tight. The next thing is we work on the blower. So we're going to be putting the blocking plate on, which is going to attach right here, and then we're going to be putting the blower mount on here. And you're going to need 7/16 for the blocking plate and 9/16 for the blower mount.
Okay, I went ahead and tightened down the blocking plate. The blower mount just goes on finger tight for the time being.
Left out a piece. So the deck mounting bracket that goes on the blower, well, before you put that on, you have this last little baffle piece. You have the block right here and the baffle that goes on the deck, and then you have this piece. And I completely left that piece off. So you put it down, and then you put your deck mounting bracket on. Now we can bolt it back together. Okay, there we go. That's the lower mount and the blocking plate. Next, we'll be installing the baffle plate, which is right here. So in order to do that, we're going to need to mark and drill 2 3/8 holes. Tuck it right up into the corner like that. I'm against the weld here, and I'm against the plate here. Now I'm going to put this right in the middle, my mark that is. I'll put the mark right in the middle so that I have some room to adjust this back and forth if I need to. Blade clearance. Okay, next thing we're going to be doing is attaching the blower to the deck. It catches this ridge, and it sits right in between the two mounts for the original grass chute. And this lines up nicely, baffle plate, block plate, everything looks good. So now this utilizes your original grass flat pin to hold it on. So if you don't have that, you're going to have to go to John Deere and get a new one. But slide that in, you put your key on, and now the unit will not come off. So the next thing I have to do, and this one it's already setting in the perfect position, but if it were not, I'd have to adjust it back and forth and then tighten these up. So I can go ahead and tighten up these bolts now and move on to the next step. Okay, the next thing we're going to be doing is removing the cover. It's going to be 7/16, and that's so that we can get to the belt pulleys, so that we can get the belt installed. These are 7/16. Okay, I was going to say, I think they're just 3. There's one on the bottom, one on the top, and then one in the back. Okay, cover's off, and it mentions loosening the pulley so that these guards will be out of the way to get the pulley off, or to get the belt around the pulley rather. So these look to be 9/16. Yeah, okay. So as you can see, that loosens this up. Go ahead and loosen them where I've got plenty of play. Do the same down here. Okay, there we go. Alright, so now we've got full access to those. So it says to start with the blower pulley, which is right here. Okay. And then I'm going to go V side in on the lower pulley and the flat side against the top pulley. Of course, get all the twists out of the belt. There we go. Okay, and then that's going to run back and go around. Oh, and look at that. Had the guard loose and I still managed to get it in the way. Guard back on top. Alright. So everything is aligned properly, looks like. Orientation of the belt guards. I want to make sure I have those in the right place. Okay, so it's showing this one right here, and it's showing this one right there. So I want to make sure when I tighten those down that I get those back in the right spot. The other thing I need to do, I'm going to remove the deck pulley for right now because I want to get these tightened up in their forward positions so that they're nice and tight tension wise. Okay. There. Alright, top one's tight. Now the bottom one, it doesn't go anywhere other than the position that it started out in, so I don't have to worry about moving it forward or anything like that. Just need to tighten it up and make sure that that belt guard is on there. Okay. Alright, now this is your tension pulley on the bottom. So I'm going to use the tension pulley. Get the belt around. Okay, there we go. Alright. It's got good tension on it. Everything's lined up, so okay. Cool. Cool. Okay. And then put the cover back on. The next thing that goes on is the belt guard, and it's going to go in underneath here. It has two arms that hold it in place, and then a guard that covers up your belt to make things safe. So we'll go ahead and install that. this. And you have this package that has the arms and the other bolts that you need. One, I have to jack up the unit, so I have my jack underneath it already with a 2x4 running across, catching both of the hydraulic drive units to the rear wheels. That's the most solid place to jack at. And then I've got to pull the back wheels off and pull the rear weight off to get to all of the mounting spots that I need to get to. So let's get that knocked out. Okay, the rear wheel plug nuts are number 19 metric. Alright, that's all the rear lug nuts. Now the bumper itself, the weight, rear weight, is a 18 socket. Needless to say, it's very heavy. And move into the installation of the brackets that hold the PV18 hopper. Okay, it's going to use these 3 bolts. Here's our right side frame. This plate is going to sit against here. So the fun part's going to be getting one of these to line back up. Okay, I have the right side on, so let me show you with everything in place. The bracket right here with the 3/8 bolt from the inside, and then the 1/2 inch by 1.5 inch bolt up here from the outside in this top hole. Okay, so that's how that's supposed to fit. And I need to go through and tighten all of those and then move to the other side and do the same thing over there. And then I can put my wheels back on and get ready to put the hopper on.
Brackets in place and folding it up.
there it is in place. So I have to, of course, connect it to the blower with the hose. Put on the front counterweight and connect the handle, and that's it. So I'll get that done and then show you the finished product. Well, what else I had to do to finish it up? Had to mount the front weight, which consisted of this bolt on both sides, which already had an existing hole. So it was one of the 1/2 inch by 1.5 inch bolts with a lock nut, or a vinyl lock nut. Put that in on both sides first, and then drill 3/8 hole for the 3/8 by 1.5 inch bolt. So you have the 2 bolts on each side. That was simple. I didn't really see the necessity in videoing all of that. Then the handle on the hopper consisted of these 2 bolts. So it's just bolted on, no big deal. And the way that works, pull the handle down and then push it back, and that opens your hopper up, and then up is locked back in. Okay, and then the other thing, of course the blower is all on and everything, but I just had to put the hose on. So hose clamp here, hose clamp down here with a metal sleeve underneath, which allows you to slide this on and off without taking the clamp off. So if you get a clog, you can slide that off real easily.